Today we're looking at the 2023 New South Wales Junior Regionals Under-18 Boys Grand Final.
Oh, how about that? It's even better.
Count of the man, count of the hour.
That is sensational.
Okay, Under-18 Boys Grand Final. A replay of 21. Sydney Scorpions in green, Hunter Hornets in purple. So we've got the Hornets look like they're going to be striking first. Middle dump. Nice catch. Oh, wing a bit of in a bit of two worlds there. That's a nice still. Anyway, we'll go back a little bit. So it's a middle dump. Let's get me pen going. Middle. Okay, because it's the middle closest to the camera, this guy's going to step in. Okay, he's going to step around the other middle, straighten up into that hole, which allows the link to run this hole and the winger to keep width. The dummy half, he's going to take off and basically take on that offside player. So because the offside player's pulled corner correctly, he's going to step back and try and have the 4-on-3, which is what he does. There's the step. Middle's running a nice hole. Okay. Link's running this line here. Winger's keeping width. It's a nice bullet pass. And what happens here is because it's so high, this winger, is actually gone out because it looks like that ball's going to the winger. This guy's in a nice channel. It's too high for him to intercept. So the winger, understandably, has gone out. But it's a great take by the link. And it's a nice dummy. And they score the try just from a simple middle 4-on-3 platform. And so Scorps hit back. Again, middle. How this time they go the ML. And it's a phase play that turns into like a sweeper boy. It's something that we're covering on in another game that's coming up. I say that the way I say it because I've actually done the game analysis prior to this, but it's going to come out after this video. Anyway, we'll have a look. It's a bit of a complex play here. So they run an ML platform. We'll go back a little bit. They do run this again. It's probably a bit of a novelty play. They start off with middle. This guy's running nice and hard, and that's just a middle shape. An ML shape. Dummy half gets around, and then they look like they're running a block runner. But this guy, instead of going out the back, he's going to be dummy half. No, that's incorrect, sorry. The guy who I said is going to be dummy half, he's actually going to counter on a sweep. This guy's going to follow his pass and be dummy half. But you watch the dumper. What he does is he gets on the inside shoulder of the middle and he holds his ground. He gets his body and he moves forward, blocking the number 4 from the Hornets, the middle making the touch, from turning and covering the inside. So it's a little bit, some refs will pull it up, some refs will miss it, some refs will think it's okay, it's just good use of your body. But as you can see, he moves forward there and he's actually preventing this Hornets player from recovering. So the ball goes out, he runs this way, gets this defender to chase him, and because the defender starts moving this way, his inside player can't cover the gap, and it's just an inside pass there. So the Hornets players are claiming obstruction. Referees, they either don't see it or they think it's okay. I personally just think that they've missed it, which it's a very hard thing to miss because as a ref, you're following the ball, and that obstruction didn't come where the ball was. This is an interesting one. So we have a short side quickie. Well, sort of. Because both middles are up making the touch here, which is a no because all this space behind them, there's no one covering that. And when you got two middles making the touch, it doesn't matter what way you split. Okay? You split this way, this guy pulls corner. You split the other way, this guy pulls corner. Everything becomes fine. So which way is he split? Okay, he's gone to the left. Middles have both got to recover. They're actually still offside. He's taken on the short side, steps back. Links shut down here, which is fine. And for some reason, either he's called no touch or the referee has called him offside. He blows a penalty, changes his mind, and it ends up being a Hornets try. But just to reiterate, the most important thing out of that touch is you never want both middles making the touch together. Because you're programmed to pull corner after you make the touch. If both middles pull corner, you're just basically presenting a gap for someone to run in. So Scorps now hit back again. Okay, so it's another middle. No, it's not. It's a middle link. This is just a standard fade 4-on-3. So the link is dummy half. Middle comes across, fades on the other middle. His job is to now pull corner, but everyone else here needs to be further back. I know they're rolling in defense, but they need to be back here, okay, so they can cover and move forward and stop rolling backwards into this play. So as they dump, dummy half takes off. And a coaching point here is, because he's dummy half, remember he can't score. Okay? And if you can't chase him, if you can't get him right on the 7 meter line where the offside is, just keep chasing. We don't have to dive. Okay? The reason we don't dive is if you miss, then all of a sudden there's 20 meters between between that player and you by the time you get to your feet. And it's more time that these guys have to man up on their player, because it's very difficult to do that. But if you stay on your feet and chase, the guy with the ball is just going to run out of space. And what happens here is the two Hornets guys just get into a bit of confusion and they mark the same player. But if it's a dummy half, stay on your feet, chase him until he's run out of room. And it's just something to remember. You may think you're going to get him, but sometimes you don't. ML, long ball, links backing up. Okay, so another ML shape. ML means middle link, which is weird because it's a middle dump. Middle dump. Link's going to run direct at this offside player. And depending which way he goes, he'll obviously go the other way. Dummy half will wrap around to make sure that this guy doesn't just come in and jam it. There's the wraparound. The guy that dumps the ball is going to split outside the other middle and run that hole. Link's going to run this hole, and Winger's going to keep the width. Scorps have shut down nicely, covering all the gaps. But we've gone the long ball. This guy's defense is really good. He's got off the line and he's in the way, so you can't throw the ball to the link. You try to throw the ball to the link, intercepted. So this player here, he knows he can push out. The only downside to this is because you're in so tight and you jump like that, you're leaving yourself vulnerable for that. So if you go in, the ball's so high, don't jump for the sake of it. Turn around and chase. But look, it's easy to say that when you're looking at a screen the next day than actually doing it live. So we talk about the positioning being, so it's a runaway from the rucking here. All right, so that's a try. So we always talk about when we're rucking off, just to keep your eyes up. And that's a pretty poor touch. That's a pretty poor touch. He's ended up behind the play the ball here. Okay. Now I know you've got defenders locked and loaded, ready to go. But when you only send up a couple of defenders, oh, actually no, they're already over. Okay, so we'll talk about something a little different. So at the touch, you need to do your best. I know again it's harder. It's harder to do on the field, but you need to do your best to be not up in line with the ruck. This is the dummy half already got the ball, and the winger's still up in the line. So by the time this player gets up, they've had a sweeper around, and it's actually a 3-on-1 when you're talking about onside defenders. So for some reason, the Hornets got trapped with only one player moving forward here. By the time the winger's onside, because he's backpedaling, he knows there's a winger unmarked here. So in his mind, he has to mark this player, and what this player should have done is continued the chase. Continued the chase hard, or communicate for his winger to come in, so then he can take the runner down the edge. There needs to be just a bit more communication in the midfield here. But it's good from the Scorps, okay? Just because you're doing a rucking pattern doesn't mean you can't do this. There's always the option for you just to take advantage of something that's presented to you. And in this case, it was a 2-on-1. Take the 2-on-1. Don't just dump the ball. We want to promote eyes up, free play footy here. And that was a perfect example for it. So here's a sweeper, quarterback. Great reaction pass. So I'll talk about a quarterback as far as what's... A quarterback's just an addition to something. So in NFL, a quarterback is snapped. The ball is snapped to the quarterback. In this case, it's this person. And the quarterback then throws it back the other way. He throws the ball forward, like whether it's a Hail Mary or whatever. Okay, so in touch footy, there's the snap. Okay, the guy that's dummy half will then change his angle back this way. The splitter has to go hard. That's very important. And because this player here is coming in to cover that gap, because otherwise you'll just dive and score, you counter the momentum and you catch Scorpions wrong-footed. Okay, so those two players are actually technically in front of each other. This link just needs to, it's very hard to see, but he needs to try and look out for it so he can come in and jam it before this guy can get the pass away. Okay, but that's a quarterback. The quarterback's just designed to counter the momentum and You send the ball back to the open side while the defense are all moving laterally. It's a nice play. There's this block play again from Scorps. He actually misses his assignment, the blocker. So when you're blocking someone like this, it is very important to make it look like that you're not doing that, but you've still got to remember where you are. And when he actually blocks the player, the number 6 here, he actually runs in front of him. So the Hornets guy is able to recover. But just a coaching point from this, or a talking point from this, is a lot of coaches talk about the surfboard or something like that, or a turnstile, head on a turnstile. Is you're still pulling corner, but with the 8th edition rules now, you can change your angles before you're onside. So when they run a play, any type of play where the ball goes immediately back to the open side, we need you to turn like you're on a surfboard or on a skateboard. You flip your body around now to cover that inside, because all of a sudden that gap is huge. Alright, so you've got to be ISO. When you're pulling corner, you probably don't need to pull that much of a hard corner in the first place, but you need to have your eyes open on the inside. If the ball immediately goes that way, you turn, and then you cover the inside. If they're able to send the ball this way, step back, and then do that with a big pass, good on them. There's not a lot of players that can do that in the world. Okay? He did turn to cover that inside play, and he is claiming the touch. Probably just a little bit too much of a gap, though, before he did start to turn. So it's 4-all here. It's a good game. This is a bit of a controversial decision. It's a judgment call. I don't ever like to argue with judgment calls. So we have a counties play. So counties play looks like a fade. It looks like you're just going down for your link. However, you split in. You receive the ball, and then you run direct still at this offside player. The thing is, now that you're live, you can score, which means everyone needs to be covering nice and tight, because you will dive at the line. A dummy half, you can be a little bit wider because they can't dive at the line. There's no threat of that. So you can be a bit wider and then reach at the last minute. So he's gone to the line. This player has noticed now that there could be a dive present, so he's coming in. This guy needs to be off the line. I say it every time, you need to be moving forward. As much as it feels like it's the wrong thing to do when you are playing like on the field and you're like, oh, I want to give myself as much time to react as possible, move forward, because you can catch this pass. He's done good to react there, and look, like I said, judgment call. You just call what you see, but that's the line that link run. So they award the try here. Eventually. There it is. Now this is the last play of the game. Now the hooter goes here. Okay, the hooter sounds. But I was present at this tournament, and the hooter was very, very difficult to hear. Like sometimes a game, like I was coaching and a game would be done, and next thing you know, oh, wait, we're shaking hands. I didn't hear it. So the hooter goes here. The referees don't hear it, but then there's another play the ball. You can see the Scorps bench. They're all like, hang on, the hooter's gone, the hooter's gone. They've obviously heard the hooter, or they've been timing the game and they knew the hooter had went. But the referees allow play on here. And Hornets go over to claim a try. So what do? Do you go with the referee's decision? Or do you say, no, the hooter was gone, let's end the game? So the referees come together and discuss the right thing to do, and they decide that no, the hooter was gone, anything after that is dead play. So they end the game, and Scorps run out 5-4 victors over the Hornets. So well done to the Scorps for winning Junior Regionals 23, and thanks for watching, guys, and we'll be back for another episode very shortly. I'm looking to do the 18 girls grand final, as that was a cracker as well. Goes into a drop-off. See you next time.